Aloha everyone, I'm Lauren from Marion, Hawaii, and today we have Maila Gibson here, and we are continuing our series with the officiants so that you could get to know everybody a little bit better. So welcome, Maila.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So we're just gonna get right into it. So tell us a little fun fact about you.
Fun fact about me. What's fun? I have two crazy English Cocker Spaniels. People ask me all the time if I have kids, and I always say I have the furry four-legged kind. I don't know if that's fun, but my dogs are fun. If you follow me on Instagram, I post a lot about them. I think they're the craziest dogs in Kaka'ako. I live in Kaka'ako on Oahu, and it's funny. I'll run into people and they're like, "Hey, you're that you're that girl that has those two black dogs," and they're really cute. You hardly see Cocker Spaniels around, and they're really rambunctious and yeah, craziest dogs in Kaka'ako for sure. I should coin that hashtag.
Okay, nice. What are their names?
Prince, we think he's 10. We adopted him 4 years ago, so we're not really sure. And then Kiana, she's 3. I think she has ADHD.
Yeah, I think mine does too.
Yeah. They always say though, right? Like you don't train the dog, you train the owner. So maybe there's something wrong with my husband and me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I definitely think there's something with me, but that's for sure. Okay, so how did you get in? I know the question, but a lot of other people might know, but how did you get into wedding officiating?
I got into it because of you. You used to,
Partially.
yeah, partially. So you used to work at the Halekulani, where a lot of weddings are performed, and I sing, and so I was performing at weddings a lot. And I think it was previous to you asking me to do it. I had done one with a DJ, and that DJ MCs, coordinates, officiates, and he had suggested to me, would you mind officiating with me sometime? Because people want a woman. And I'm like, no, they don't. Everybody wants a pastor, they want an authoritative man. And he was like, no, quite the contrary. And so I decided to say yes to it. I did that one wedding, and I think you found out about it. And then you had a conversation with me about, you should really do this. And I was like, really? And so then I think you hired me for the next one, and it just kind of went from there. And I love it. I believe in marriage myself. I love performing at weddings, just being around anything love and weddings. So it's a real natural thing for me to do.
Yeah, well, you definitely are a natural, so it was great that you started doing it. And that wedding that the DJ asked you to do, that was one of my weddings.
That's right.
Yeah, so you were singing at that wedding, and um a lot of things happened with that wedding. I think the officiant ended up not being able to do it or something, and you stepped in
Yeah,
or something like
right.
that. Yeah.
You're right.
Okay, so what would you say your officiant style is?
My style is casual, heartfelt, not so formal, although of course I incorporate, the formalities. And I just really want to make sure that the bride and groom have a good awareness about what they're getting into, that their commitment to each other and to marriage is really solid, and that there's a good understanding. I love also to incorporate the people who are there, because to me it's important that if you invite people to your wedding, obviously they're really important to you. They've had something to do with you coming together as a couple. And I love, in the greater scheme of things, to communicate how important marriage is, even to the people who are there, just so that everybody involved that day really has a mindset towards this beautiful thing that's taking place. And marriage is hard, So while I love to make the ceremony fun and I love to incorporate elements, you know, even if people have a dog, you know, I love to talk to the couple beforehand and ask them, you know, do you have a pet? You know, what's the name? How do you feel about him? And then they laugh and they giggle, and you know, so that kind of sets the tone for my style. My style really is custom tailored, casual, heartfelt. I am a Christian, so if there are Christian elements that a couple wants, then for sure we can incorporate that as well.
Sounds good. If you could describe your ideal wedding ceremony, what would that be like?
Oh, my ideal wedding ceremony. You know, I typically, so when we look at size, I did a wedding recently at Mid Pacific Country Club, and it was outside with the Ko'olau Mountains in the back. So for me, anything outdoors is just amazing because Hawaii is just such a beautiful place. Um, I also did one in Oregon last year, and it was at a winery, and that was fantastic. But rolling hills, and so first and foremost, it's like the surroundings, and then just family and people that really love you and that you love. Because like I said, I love to incorporate the people who are there as well. So when there's that feeling of all of that love, and you know, that kind of creates the intimacy regardless of the size of the crowd. I don't know, that to me just is ideal. And a couple that loves to incorporate personal things about their relationship makes it really fun for me as well, and also makes it really memorable for them. I love it when couples write their own vows. I think that's awesome. But at the same time, I do repeat after me type vows because I know not every couple is going to want to say very much. I had one recently that said, I don't want to talk. So I was like, well, you have to say something, you know, but so we kept it really simple. But nevertheless, that was the Mid Pacific Country Club one. And I love it when I can make the groom cry. And I think I might be about 100% right now in getting the groom to cry. And I don't know if that has something to do with me being a woman. It's interesting. So maybe that's my ideal wedding ceremony, when the groom can cry.
Okay. Are you flexible in working with couples on their script or incorporating different elements?
Yes, very flexible working with couples on a script. Oftentimes I'll get couples that want me to read a particular poem or a passage. I don't do a lot of the lei exchange, sand ceremony type stuff, but if they want to, for sure, I'm comfortable doing that. I had another wedding. It was Jewish, where they smashed the glass. You know, I've never been to a wedding where they do that, so I didn't know much about it, but it was really fun to incorporate that in a not so formal way. So absolutely.
Okay. What was the most unusual thing you were asked to do as part of a wedding ceremony?
I did a vow renewal, and that one was funny. It was at Waimanalo Beach, and they did not want, actually, it wasn't a vow renewal. It was a commitment ceremony. That's what it was. So it wasn't a legal marriage. They just wanted to promise each other that they would be together for the rest of their lives. And they wanted to declare it in front of their family. And I said, okay, so how would you like me to refer to you? Because you're not husband and wife. Are you partners? Like, no, we don't like that term partner. She's my lover. I was like, okay. So I had to address them the whole time as lover. That to me, for some reason, wasn't weird. It was just interesting.
Yeah. So if you are not officiating weddings, where can we find you and what would you be doing?
I'm a real estate agent. So these days in this crazy real estate market, you can find me getting ready like I am today to go show houses, to write a contract. So, you know, that's what I do for my full-time job in addition to being an officiant, which that's why I love being an officiant. Real estate is so, I don't want to say stressful because I love it too, but it's intense. A wedding is intense in a different way. I don't take it lightly. It's very serious to me that a couple has chosen me to direct them into this lifelong commitment to each other. So I get butterflies and a little nervous for every wedding, but it's in a good way. Whereas real estate is kind of like I get the butterflies, but it's like, I'm like a circus coordinator. I don't know what you call, I forget what you call that, but like, did the loan officer do their job? Is escrow doing what they need to do? Did you talk to your attorney? Did you talk to your CPA? Just juggling all these balls. Whereas a wedding, it's like, it's one thing, but it's a very important thing. So that's why I love it so much, because it brings this different sort of element to my crazy life. And you can see me walking around Kaka'ako with my crazy black dogs.
Yes. And weddings, for the most part, is usually so happy. So what a wonderful business.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah. What is your favorite Oahu restaurant?
That's such a hard question. I have so many restaurants on Oahu that I love. And it changes. So right now, I'm going to name two if that's okay. So we frequent two restaurants in Kaka'ako very often. One is Tango Cafe. They've been here for a long time. We love to go there for breakfast, and their coffee is like the very best, like in the world, in my opinion, because they have this incredible coffee machine that makes the coffee taste really good. And then Merriman's at night. We love to sit outside and enjoy their cocktails and their French fries. And Merriman's is so great because you can make it kind of fine dining if you want to, but at the same time you can roll up there after being at the beach and sit outside and have a good cocktail and watch the sunset.
Yeah. Great choices. Great choices. What is your favorite Oahu beach? And it could be just for jumping in the water. It doesn't have to be for a wedding.
Waimea Bay, hands down. Waimea Bay, in the summer, when there's no surf, when it's hot and the sand is hot and there's no wind, because it's a bay, it's like a cove, it's protected. I love seeing people just hanging out on the sand. I feel like that's not something that we do a lot in Hawaii. Like in Hawaii, we are so used to the sun. So people typically are under tents or under trees, or they want to be in the grass. They don't want to be in the sand. And there's something so childlike about being in the sand, and in the sun and getting sunburnt and jumping in and out of the water. And the water is so beautiful there. I love Waimea Bay.
Any advice that you have for either newlyweds or newly engaged?
Newly engaged, let's see. I know a lot of people talk about the wedding itself, but I want to talk about mindset. So, getting married is a very, very big deal. That day can seem like it is the most important day of your life. And it is because of what you're doing, because of the commitment you're making to each other. But the photos, the flowers, the food, the guest list, that's all going to stress you out. It is. But try to keep it in perspective, because when you get there, you're like planning, right, for maybe a year or at least 6 months sometimes, or even if you're planning 3 months prior to the wedding, it can be really intense. But just keep your eyes focused on why you're doing all of that, as opposed to the what. I think that sometimes we can lose sight. I've heard brides say, I was so nervous the day of my wedding, I didn't even taste my food. I don't remember my food. So we have to go back to the venue to eat the food so that I can really taste it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so sad. So try to be present, be in the moment. For newly married, I would say, be patient with yourself, because it's really easy to go from this high of this wedding and to have this incredible expectation. And then all of a sudden the wedding is over, all of your guests go back to their lives, and you're like, there's almost like this grieving process, you know, because this thing has been the focus of your life for so long. And now you're married. And so I say, you know, allow for that settling. And I say it in my ceremonies, but I encourage every couple to really feel that shift. You know, when you marry each other and you get up the next day and people ask you, hey, how does it feel to be married? My hope is always that you say it's different, that you feel that shift in your heart, and that it's not, it's the same as yesterday. I mean, we've been together for 10 years, you know. I don't know. That's my advice. Stay present and just really think about what you just did and this wonderful commitment you made to each other.
Great advice. So any must try, must see, must do thing or things on Oahu for those visiting here?
Absolutely. I love town. I live in town. I hashtag townie all the time on my Instagram, but I really encourage everybody to see the North Shore. And depending on the time that you're here, if it's winter time, definitely get out there and see the surf. If it's summertime, don't just drive around, like park at Waimea Bay, sit on the sand for a while, jump in the ocean. North Shore to me is just, it's so special.
All right. Any last words, anything that people should know about you that they may not know?
I'm an open book, so that's kind of it. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I share a lot of my life. Um, I am married, and I've been married now for 16 years, and I think it's the greatest thing, and it gets better every day for me. But we work at it, and we both have a commitment to working at it. So I'm really grateful that I get to spend this life with the man that I married.
All right. Well, thank you so much for today, and look forward to connecting with you in person soon.
Me too, Lauren. Thanks so much. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you. Bye-bye.